Once you're ready to analyze your images, you need to move them into Photoshop. So open your images in Photoshop by just simply using File Open and then finding the correct TIFF image in your files. Now here is the DAPI image that I've taken from one group and the corresponding neuron image from the same group, or at least what I hope is corresponding. Here, first, before we put the two images together and overlay them, I want to make sure that I'm seeing as much of the data as possible. So go to Image, Adjustments, and Levels, and see if you can maximize the information. So here, clearly, this would be way too bright, but you can see that the signal is really focused on this very small part of the image, and so I want to minimize, maximize that signal. There also seems to be a lot of background in this image, and so unfortunately that's not something that you're going to be able to get rid of with this analysis. So we'll say OK here, and then go to the DAPI image and do the same thing, adjustments, levels, and see if we can bring up that those nuclei. There's only a few nuclei here. Here again, if I go too far, see I'm bringing up the background, and that's just not important. We don't want that information there. So I think that's going to be the best option for me. When you're ready to, you're happy with the images that you have, you want to go ahead and select all, which you could do with the Command A, right? Or simply go to the menu, select all, and then copy, Command C, or edit, copy that image. This will tell Photoshop what your clipboard size is and what your image size is, so that when you go ahead and open a new image, which is what you want to do now, and we're going to title this Overlay. It will have the pixel width, height, and resolution that matches the incoming image. You want this new image to be in RGB color, and you want to make sure that you have background content set as background color. Check over here on the color side panel here to make sure that your background color is set to black and your foreground color is set to white. This is critical because otherwise when you're importing your images, they will be switched around and turned into negative. So you really want your background color to be black. Okay, I'll show you here now that I've done this, you can change your background color by simply double clicking on that box right here and setting that up. You may have to reopen a new file, RGB file, once you've done that. Okay, because we've already copied the DAPI image here, right? So we already created a copy and placed it onto the clipboard. I know that this DAPI image should be blue. The nuclei were labeled with blue. So when I go to the overlay, you have some options here where you can set up different layers, but actually we're going to copy our files into different color channels. And specifically, we'll click on the blue color channel before we paste our DAPI image. And so that's a Control V command or the Edit Paste command here. If you go back to RGB, you can see now wherever there's a signal in the DAPI image that you've just pasted, it will be shown as blue in the RGB version of this image. Okay, now you go to your corresponding axon image or neuron image with the green, which should be green here, right? You can go to your overlay image, pick the green channel, and paste your axons. And now you should have an overlay of those two images with the cell body corresponding to an axon. Now I'm starting to wonder whether these are in fact corresponding images, but here's a cell body here that presumably has an axon here. All right. Sometimes you might have to, you might open an image that comes out completely black when you open it. So let me do that now so that you can see what's going on, how to fix that problem. This happens fairly routinely. So again, here's this image. I've just opened it in Photoshop, and although you know you had a signal, it looked completely black. So now we go to, again, image mode, adjustments, levels, and you can see that there is a signal there. It's just really, really in this narrow range. And so when you move and adjust your levels, you see the signal again. Now, this image was not taken in focus, and so that's a different problem. But don't worry if the images that you open show up as black initially. You can find the signal that was there when you actually took the picture. All right, so you need to do all that with all your images, and then you can start analyzing your data.